Hello, everyone. I hope all is well. I want to say thanks for joining me. And remember, it takes a lot to create content. So hit that like button and also subscribe if you have not done so. You remember the song One Day Christian? Many times they're doing all sorts of wrong through the week. And on the day that they go to church, you know what? You could have more sacred person. Now, I want to really talk about the mixture between dancehall and the church. So good evening or good night, wherever you are, or good afternoon. We're going to dive into Jamaica's deepest cultural conversation. Yes, the clash between, of course, church and dancehall. On one side, we have the church, one of the oldest and most powerful institutions in Jamaica life. And on the other side, the dancehall, a raw and vibrant culture born from the voice of the people. But here's a question we want to explore together. Is the clash simply good versus evil, or in reality about Jamaica's ongoing search for true identity? You know, a couple of years ago, I would say 2 decades ago or more, I went to a church concert. It was New Year's Eve. And when I saw a lady doing a sort of dance, as a young boy, I said to myself, what on earth has happened to our church? To be honest, things have even changed more drastically. So hold your thoughts. By the end of the session, I want to ask you a question. What does it mean to be Jamaican? And how do these two powerful movements collide and reshape our identity? Now, let us explore the Jamaican church story. It started back in 1509 when the Spanish Roman Catholics came here. Then in 1655, the British brought Anglicanism to us. But here's a twist. It wasn't the colonial church that truly transformed Jamaica. It was the Baptist and the Moravian. For example, George, a free African American who came in 1783. He was preaching and inspiring thousands of enslaved Africans and lit the fire for freedom fighters like Sam Sharp. And of course, that led to the 1831 Baptist War. The church became more than a place of worship. It became a school, a community center, and a leader in the abolition of slavery. Here's a quick interactive pause that I want to give you. Let me ask, how many of you have been in a church service that felt like a community gathering rather than a sermon? That is why the church is seen in Jamaica as a moral compass. But notice, even back then, there were arguments about music and worship styles. In 1827, one bishop complained about the church music being too African for black congregations. Doesn't that sound familiar to the complaints about dancehall music today? Now, let us look at the rise of dancehall. In the late 1970s, we can see Jamaica going towards a movement. Jamaica was going through political violence and economic struggles. Out of Kingston's inner city community dancehall, carrying the voice of the working class. Unlike reggae, which was international, dancehall was local, gritty, and unapologetic. It gave birth to toasting, the rhythmic lyric style that would later influence hip-hop. By the 1980s, digital rhythms made it faster, sharper, and more direct. Dancehall wasn't just about entertainment. It was a code of survival. Lyrics about crime, poverty, and hustling weren't simply corrupting the youth. They were reflecting the realities of the ghetto life. Now, do you think that music creates social problems, or does it simply reflect them? You know, the church say that dancehall is slackness. It promotes immorality. It promotes problems in our society, drug use. It's worldly and also sinful. But here's the paradox on some issues. The church and dancehall have some agreement. They have some agreement as it relates to the values of society. Remember Buju Banton's song that he sang that created problems? The message in that song matched the controversy of the same church. Yes, the church hit out against that sort of group, and so did dancehall. The message was the same, but maybe the consequences were not. So, if the church and dancehall share some of the same views, are they really enemies or strange allies? Another battle is public space. Think about funerals. You remember one time you used to go to funerals and it was a solemn occasion of respect and everything? Once again, they were solemn and peaceful back then, respectful. Today you might see, of course, a lot of things happening. Flashy jewelry, dancehall fashion right in the pews and so forth. People smoking, drinking, and of course boldly saying, "I will run this." A lot of things will go on in funeral. It's a powerful struggle over the control of public morality, the pulpit or the street corner. And that's the reality. Now, let us not forget the Rastafarian movement, which emerged in the 1930s. Rastas used reggae to preach liberation, anti-colonialism, and spirituality. A Rasta believes in liberty, a natural, humble lifestyle. Dancehall often celebrates bling bling or excess. Still, when it comes down to the issue of certain things, the Rasta and the church and dancehall all align their views. And I'm not going to talk about what they align their views with. Even though dancehall is often called profane, some scholars call it electric church. Why? Because in a sound system, people gather, dance, feel the beat in their bones, and experience something almost spiritual, just like revival worship. I'm telling you, the beat. Remember that song, Music in Your Bones, You Have to Move, right? And there we have the dancehall moving into the church. A lot of these dancehall artists have moved into the church, like Papa San, Lieutenant Stitchy, and of course others. And they have brought in the gospel dancehall genre, using the same dancehall beat and rhythm but with a holy message. Would you rather hear the gospel preached in hymns or in the rhythms of the dancehall? This proves that the culture is not fixed. Even the church is learning that to reach young people, it must sometimes speak their language. The clash doesn't stop at the church and dancehall. The government is involved too. In 2009 and again in 2022, the Broadcasting Commission banned certain songs about crime, scamming, and sex. The goal was to protect the youths, but artists fire back saying, you can ban the music, but you can't fix the real problem, poverty and inequality. Here's the reality. While there's some condemnation regarding certain music, it must be understood that Jamaica continues to gain benefit from dancehall music internationally and locally. Festivals like Reggae Sunfest bring millions of dollars every year. Dancehall is one of Jamaica's most successful cultural export, shaping global music, fashion, and even slang. So here's a question. Can Jamaica condemn dancehall music and still celebrate it as one of its biggest global brands? So where does that leave us? The church is a moral foundation with deep history. Dancehall is the voice of the marginalized, unapologetic to all Jamaicans. The two seem to clash, but in some ways they mirror each other. Both promote certain values. Both offer sense of belonging. Both shape identity. So here are 3 recommendations that scholars sometimes suggest. For the church to move beyond condemnation, address poverty, marginalization, and not just dress codes. For the government, tackle the root problems of crime instead of scapegoating artists. And for Jamaicans, keep questioning, what does authentic Jamaican identity look like? Think for a moment. In 20 years, will dancehall or the church have more influence on Jamaica's society? Or will both be locked in the same dance? Thanks for listening and engaging. The story of the church and dancehall is not finished. It's beginning to be written by you and the next generation. Thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.